So we've now built our home page, but now we're going to have a quick look at formatting it for mobile and tablet. So if you look at this screen recording that I've just taken of my phone, of the website as it currently stands, you can see that all the text and all the images are all over the place. And this is because what happens is when you build something for desktop, it will save the same dimensions and the same margin and padding, and that will then translate over to all the other devices. Now, obviously, different devices have different screen widths. So now we're going to go back into those different devices and change the padding and the margin in those areas so that they are better suited for either mobile or tablet. Now, this is called responsive mode. So I'm going to open the page that we've been editing. And if you do this alongside us, so come to pages, then where we've got our test page, click edit with Elementor. And once that's loaded, I'm going to show you how to turn on responsive mode. So it has recently changed with Elementor. It used to be slightly different. They've just updated it, and the updates are slightly better once you know what you're doing. So come down to the bottom and click responsive mode here. And then you'll notice that the screen is actually changed similarly to the screen recording that I took on my phone with all the formats all over the place. You can actually toggle between responsive modes. So we've got mobile, tablet, and desktop. You can also, by grabbing this sidebar here, adjust the window dimensions. So this would be obviously for a large screen tablet, and then this one for much smaller. And the same is also applied with the phone. So as you can see, all the alignment is all over the place. And as I mentioned earlier in this course, the mobile device tends to be a more simplified version. So you might find that we actually end up hiding specific elements that are in our website, but makes the mobile view a little bit complicated. So with the mobile view, you don't want a very long page where the user has to scroll a lot, because they get what's called scrolling fatigue. And what that means is as your user scrolls down through your website, they can get very bored very quickly. So you want to make sure that when you're on mobile devices that you're only showing the basic minimum of what you really need to convey your message or what it is that your company does. So we're going to quickly go through each one of these, and I'm going to change all the margin and padding. So as we know, there are three elements for layout, and that's section, column, and then the widget. Say you start building and say, for example, these aren't correctly aligned and you've tried changing the margin and the padding. Try looking at how it looks on its column as well as the section itself, because that could be where the padding is that is putting it out of proportion. So let's dive into it now. We're going to look at reducing this white gap at the top here. So let's select the section, advanced, and then we're just going to unlink all these sections. And what that does is the link is actually linking to the pre-saved setting version on your desktop. But in responsive mode, if you see this little icon here next to it, it means that you're going to only edit in this device. So for example, content width doesn't have one. So if I change that here, it would change it across all devices. But padding and margin do, so we can change that here and not worry about it affecting all the other devices. So next you want to resolve this crushed text. Now this could actually be the text line height, so let's select the text, style, typography, and then we're just going to adjust the line height like so. Now we're going to make it a little bit smaller. And the same with She Loves You. Like that. Then we've got this huge image here, so let's look at decreasing this. So select it, and we're going to adjust the minimum height to somewhere around there. As I said, on mobile, you don't want lots of scrolling, so that's a good size. The love view could be reduced a little bit more, so let's take it down to 40. And let's look at reducing the gap here. So unselect, and do the same with the text above. Now reduce the margin at the bottom of one of those, and that'll bring it closer. We'll just add a bit of margin to the top there. These elements here, I feel, clutter the web page. Now we're actually just going to pick one of these to really drive home our message, and we're going to pick this reef safe section here. So what we want to do is we want to hide this section, and we want to hide this section. So to do that, select the outer column here, then go to Advanced, Responsive, and then you can see here you can actually hide it. So we're going to hide that on mobile. Now elements with the lines that go through it, like so, and that are slightly grayed, that means that they won't show on mobile devices. Let's do the same for WWE approved. And now we're going to put these two columns so they're side by side. So to do that, select the column, and here where it says column width, we're going to put 20 and just increase that a little bit to 32, looks good. Now, if we make this column width the remainder, so we've got 32 here. Now, if we make this column 64, we'll see that it jumps up and is now on the same line as the other one. So that looks great like that. Now, as we can see here, all the text is all over the place. So what I like to do is I just go through all the sections, the columns and the widgets, and just deselect all the linked margin and padding. So I'm going to quickly run through that whilst you watch. So select the section, Advanced, deselect. Same with the column, Advanced, deselect. The widget should be okay. And as you can see now, it's pulled it more into a better formatted size. Now, this edge is going to be quite close to the edge of the mobile device. So let's select the section. And then we're going to put 20 padding on both left and right. And just gives us some breathing room. Then next, we're going to put a bit of padding at the top here. 30 looks good. And we're just going to drop 30 at the bottom as well. Now select the widget, Style, Typography, and let's just decrease the size a little bit to somewhere around 25. The text is okay, but the line gaps are a bit big, so let's go Style, Typography, and we can adjust the line height here. So 1.3 looks good. And as I said before, this only affects the mobile. Adults only boat party, I think that's okay. And now we've got this scrunched up text here. So let's select that. And because it's scrunched up, we know it's the line height. So let's put 1.2. So it's the same as the text above. Now we're gonna select this column and unlink both of those. Give it a bit of margin at the top. And we're going to add 30 padding either side. And then we're going to reduce the size of this text. Unlink. And there we go, now it's a better size. So now we want to add padding on the inside so that we can see the image clearly. So let's go 50 by 50, it's a bit small, 100 by 100. There we go, so 600, so 200 at the top, 200 at the bottom gives us a nice height. Now we want this text to actually sit nearer the bottom. So if we put this at 380 and put 20, it'll sit nicer at the bottom like that. Looking at it, actually, we don't need that image. It doesn't really add much to our mobile site, so I'm actually going to hide that now. So responsive, hide on mobile. This image sits nicely at the top. But again, we're just going to select the section and delink all the margin and padding and do the same with the columns. Like that. We're going to now select this column and put 20 on the right and 20 on the left. And select the text, decrease the size. Back to column, and let's put 20 padding at the top, 20 padding at the bottom. So that's better laid out. Now, what we want is all these inner sections to be in one line, like we've done up here. These are quite important parts of our business, so we're going to try and keep them all. We may remove one of them. Friendly crew doesn't really add that much value, so let's select inner section to there, advanced, responsive, hide on mobile. Now for the other ones, let's select our column on the inner section and put 20. See how it looks. We're going to need it at 35. We then have to put 65 in there for it to all fit on one line. Now we can make this text smaller so it all fits on one line, but I actually quite like how it's broken up like that. So we're going to do 35, 65, 35, 65. Now for some reason it's dropped the D down there, which it doesn't usually do. So we're going to decrease the size of this just slightly so that it all fits onto one line. So looking for size 21, so select the other ones. And let's make their size also 21. This one we've hidden, so that's fine. Now we need to work on this section here. So select the inner section, remove all the padding, same with the column. And we're going to do the same with the widget here also. Let's make this text size a bit better like that. And then we're just going to add padding to the top and the bottom. So select the section. And let's see how it looks at 20 above and 20 below. And that looks okay like that. Now let's focus on this section here. Select the section. Unlink those. Let's do the same with the column. We're going to do the same with the column below. And that will cover us all the way down here. So next we've got one image here and then another image. So what we actually want to do is swap these two columns around. So this text comes first and it just breaks it up a bit nicer. So to do that, select the section, advanced, responsive. And you can see now above the visibility, we can actually reverse columns. So we want to click this one here, reverse columns for mobile. And then under advanced, we're just going to add some more padding to the top like that. And we're going to add our usual 20 either side. So now let's make this title a better size. 35 looks pretty good. And we're going to change the text line height to 1.2 like we've got above. And the same with the text below. Now we want this image to fill the page a bit more, so select the image, style, and increase the width. Now let's focus on this review. So we could have the review to the left and then the customer name and the review, but again, I feel like it would make it a bit small on mobile. So let's select the section and we're just going to unlink the previous attributes. Add some padding at the top. Let's give us some breathing room. And then we're going to do the same with these columns. Select the image and let's align its center. Unlink that. Make it a bit of a better size, so let's put it as 40. And give it some padding below. Select the title, center aligned, and we'll do the same with the star widget. And now with the review, let's put the line height at 1.2. So let's move on to the next section. So the next section, we're just going to select the section and then on advanced, unlink the settings and do the same with the columns. Now, as we can see, it's still all over the place, so we're going to also do the same with the widgets. Like that. Now we're going to flip these around because the boat party would look better at the top. So select the section, advanced, responsive, reverse on mobile. Select the column, advanced, and we're just going to add some padding to the top. 40, and we're going to do 20 to the bottom like that. And we're also going to give it some more margin to separate the gap here between the section. Select the text. And let's just make that a better size. So now we need a bit more padding again. So select the column. Let's make this 70 and this one 50. Boost it to 100. And that one 75. Actually, I think that one could be okay. I left at 50. And then we're just going to add some padding to the bottom as well to give this some breathing room. Select the text, style, typography, line height 1.2. We're going to select this image here. We don't really need it, so let's go advanced, responsive, hide on mobile. And for the final contact form, we're going to go through, deselect all the sections. So before we move on, we need to select the inner section. We need to put our usual padding to the right and the left. And let's decrease the boat party text. So this isn't aligned to the edge of this image here, so let's look at that. Select the text, advanced, and that seems to be okay, so it's obviously the column. We've got our 20 there, so remove that. So let's select the next section and unlink, then we're going to add some padding to the top. 20. We're going to unlink the columns, and we're going to hide this image here. And we're going to select the column, give it 20 padding to the left and right, and we're going to make the font the right size. Finally, with this bottom section here, let's unlink it all. And now you can see here that it's not actually done anything after the linking. So let's look at minimum height. We're just going to adjust that. As well as reposition our image. So we're going to re-add that. And the bottom we're going to put center. And the text is all right that size. So as you can see now, our device is properly formatted for mobiles. You can also do the exact same with tablets. You tend to find that not as much needs doing, like we've got a little bit of work here, but because it's a similar kind of layout almost to your desktop device, it kind of translates quite nicely. So that's how to format for mobile and tablet. I'm going to click update and our changes have been saved now. And because every mobile has slightly different dimensions, have a little look on your mobile because it may look slightly differently to this editing screen. And just look at your mobile, come back in here, make the changes that you need, and then just refer back to your mobile for reference, because your mobile will be closer to how your visitors will see it, whereas this is obviously, it can be multiple sizes.